Welcome into the Panthers.com video mailbag. Staff writer Max Henson here as the Panthers look to bounce back from their first loss of the season as they prepare to take on the Buccaneers in the regular season finale. We've got our first question this week from Brent Thomas, who asked, are the players downhearted? Is the locker room negative? No, I don't think so. And I know there's been a lot of talk about the Panthers locker room in Atlanta after that loss. People compared it to a funeral type setting in there. I really didn't agree with that. The Panthers, once that loss happened, I think, yes, there was a bit of a stunned reaction. You go 16 weeks through the season without suffering a loss. You almost kind of get used to going out there to play the game Sunday. You come back into the locker room, you celebrate a win. So that was a bit stunning to have that happen for the first time, not to be able to celebrate a victory. But there was a lot of guys keep the chins up. Everybody, let's get back together or rally around this. Let's learn from this. Let's grow from this. And I think that's the kind of mindset this team is moving forward with. Of course, after a loss, there's not going to be too much chatter in the locker room. But these guys are going to pick themselves up, and they have the perspective to know that 14-1 is still a good position to be in. The world is not over. At 14-0, they wanted to continue that undefeated run. Disappointment to have that end. But at 14-1, all their goals are still very much in front of them. They've got the Super Bowl obviously on their minds as the ultimate goal. But right now in Week 17, they're trying to lock up home field advantage. They could do that with a win over the Bucs. I think they've got the right mindset to get that done. We've got our next question from Trey Rowell, who asked, the pass rush hasn't been a factor in the last two games, which is why Eli Manning and Matt Ryan had success. Should this be a concern? It's definitely a concern right now for the Panthers. It's something Ron Rivera has talked about. The defensive ends in particular haven't been able to get home and register those sacks. And that's something, of course, this defense is predicated on. They want to get pressure with that front four. It hasn't come in recent weeks. But to step back here, the Panthers are still third in the NFL in sacks. So they've been able to get that done throughout the course of the year. They've hit a bit of a slump right now. I think the road Ron Rivera used is that they're pressing too much. They're putting too much pressure on themselves to try to get there. They gotta, as a cliche would have it, let the game come to them. Don't try to force the issue so much. And this seems like it could be one of those things where if one of those defensive ends gets one, Charles Johnson gets one, Jared Allen gets one, Coney Ely gets one, maybe that'll have a snowball effect. They may come in bunches. And that's the kind of sense you get from that defensive end group. They're just trying to get one against the Bucs in Tampa. And hopefully that'll get them started. We've got our last question from Fastback, who asked, what has the team learned after the loss at Atlanta that will make them better going forward? I just think a loss in general is a big learning experience for this team. You're 14-0, all you've known is winning, and you're riding that wave of momentum, and then suddenly it stops. And I think the veterans in that locker room really said it best. Charles Tillman told me after that game, don't lose the lesson when you lose the game. And I think that's the important thing for this team. Obviously, there are specifics that go into why they could have played better, areas of the game they need to improve. But in general, the loss is a bit humbling. And I think learning that you are human and you can be beat will kind of give this team a bit of a more heightened sense of awareness going into Week 17 and after that bye week getting ready for the postseason. And going through that as a team, I think will pay benefits. Moving forward down the line now for Carolina, I think they go into the postseason with maybe a little bit more of doubt surrounding them again. When they were running that undefeated streak, there was a lot of pats on the back. And now after that first loss, so maybe doubt has creeped in the outside world. Is this team really that good? And I think this team's going to embrace that. They like the underdog role. That's the personality this team thrives in. I think they maybe got that chip back after just one loss. That's all it took. And I think they'll try to use that edge as they move forward into the postseason. Well, thanks for the question this week, everybody. We'll do it again next time, right here on Panthers.com.